Here's your wrestling news for April 20th, 2021, and if you like what you're watching, smash that like button and give us 1,000 likes or more. And your headlines for today include: WWE quietly switches brands for another superstar. What happened after WWE Raw went off air? Is Charlotte Flair suspended? Is Braun Strowman quietly entering the WWE title picture on Raw? Alexa Bliss finally opened up on Raw, hints at what lies ahead. WWE cuts notable moments from WrestleMania 37 streaming replay. Riddle scores huge upset win over Randy Orton on WWE Raw. Was this a last-minute decision by Vince McMahon? WWE Hall of Famer is down for and accepts one more match. New reasons come to light about recent WWE releases. New AEW Dynamite segment revealed for this week, and more. We are starting today with WWE, and whilst the company has their annual draft each October, that hasn't stopped two superstars from recently jumping to another show. Post Wrestling is reporting that both Slapjack and Reckoning of Retribution will be moving to SmackDown, whilst Mason T-Bar remain on Raw. This split was teased on last week's Raw when Mason T-Bar attacked Drew McIntyre to close out the show, with Reckoning and Slapjack nowhere to be seen. This split was emphasized on last night's show as Mason T-Bar ditched their masks, seemingly ending their time as Retribution members. It's unknown if Reckoning and Slapjack will keep their Retribution names or go back to being Mia Yim and Shane Thorne respectively, but with rumors of Mustafa Ali being turned face and 2/5 of the group now on Team Blue, Retribution is well and truly finished. One person fans won't see on Raw or SmackDown is Charlotte Flair, who ended last night's show by attacking the referee who officiated her pinfall loss to Asuka in the main event. During the match, Flair had the Empress in the figure 8 and would have won if not for a distraction from Rhea Ripley, payback for the Queen's own interference last week. Arguing with referee Eddie Orengo, Flair snapped, attacking him, and even after being blocked by other officials, attacked him again, marking the latest in her new unapologetic character. On Raw Talk, Adam Pearce fined Flair $100,000 and indefinitely suspended her, and this could mean she'll be taking time off, despite just returning from an absence that forced her to miss WrestleMania. It seems more likely they'll write her as the badass heel who doesn't care about the rules and shows up anyway, and we'll have to see if Flair shows up on the road to WrestleMania Backlash. This week's Raw also saw Braun Strowman in action, and the Monster Among Men teased a huge move up the card. Opening up the show, Drew McIntyre was looking for an explanation as to why Mason T-Bar attacked him last week, and though MVP made it clear that they're not part of the Hurt Business, they are doing his dirty work for him. Another attack on McIntyre by Mason T-Bar ended the opening segment, and though McIntyre was looking for a handicap match against the two, Adam Pearce insisted on a tag team bout. Just when things looked bleak for the Scotsman, Braun Strowman made the save, and whilst the team of Strowman and McIntyre lost against Mason T-Bar, it was via DQ after Drew couldn't stop attacking Mace. In an interesting move, both Mace and T-Bar were unmasked, obviously revealing themselves as Dio Madden and Dominik Dijakovic, and while it's good to see the two getting pushed, the story is less than fascinating. What WWE has told us, though, is that Strowman could quietly be entering the WWE title picture, and after teaming with the #1 contender to face two men doing the dirty work of Bobby Lashley, Strowman is in an excellent spot. Do you think Strowman should be in the WWE title picture? And would you like to see him as champion? Let us know in the comments. Raw also saw another bizarre appearance from Alexa Bliss, who has been an important figure since The Fiend was written off TV at TLC 2020 and carried Wyatt's feud with Randy Orton for months until WrestleMania, where she ended it in minutes. After costing The Fiend the Mania match, it seems that Bliss is done with him. And though fans didn't get many answers on the post-Mania Raw, Bliss went into more detail on last night's show. Appearing with her doll Lily, Bliss explained that the creepy figure has been with her since childhood, and recalled a story of how Lily told her to push a kid off a swing and take her ice cream. In perhaps the biggest moment of clarity, Bliss explained that Lily didn't like him, referring to The Fiend, the first actual piece of information that explains why she turned on him at WrestleMania. Adding that Lily doesn't like anybody else in the locker room, WWE indicated that Bliss will be returning to singles action, and we wouldn't want to get on her bad side now that she's ditched Wyatt in favor of Lily. Wyatt wasn't around this week, but he's still lurking in the shadows and will no doubt be letting fans in soon enough. Now, WWE has a lock on that phrase as the company trademarked "Let Me In" with a new copyright on April 15th. This trademark, which applies to merchandise, makes it clear that the company isn't likely to stop using The Fiend, even though he's disappeared from TV once again, and though The Fiend has gone through a lot since the term was first trademarked in August 2019, his catchphrase isn't going anywhere. WrestleMania news next, as this year's show was a historic two-night event, marking WWE's first show in over a year with live fans, but those same fans won't get to relive the show in its entirety. When Night 1 started, weather problems caused the show to be delayed, and several superstars gave interviews instead, but now that delay has been edited off the broadcast. Another big moment gone from the show is Mandy Rose's slip on the way to the ring, which has been cut from the show, despite WWE bringing it up into a storyline with Nia Jax on Raw. WWE is no stranger to deleting content, as they have removed several segments from the past for their use of blackface, but these WrestleMania moments were cut for an entirely different reason. Back to Raw, and during this week's show, Riddle scored what may have been the biggest win of his career, defeating Randy Orton. Earlier in the show, Orton was interviewed, promising that we'd never see The Fiend again as long as he was around. Before he could continue, he was interrupted by Riddle, who suggested they form a tag team, an idea the Viper wasn't on board with. Instead, Orton accosted Adam Pearce and demanded a match with Riddle, despite claiming he didn't know who the original bro was. The story of the match was Orton teaching Riddle a lesson, as the former WWE champion mouthed off about respect while holding Riddle in a headlock. In the finish, Orton's RKO was reversed into a fancy roll-up for the win, an ending that shocked Orton as the original bro celebrated in the aisleway. Orton was originally scheduled to face Braun Strowman on this week's show, but those plans were changed after Vince McMahon arrived late to a creative meeting, meaning Riddle's win was a call from McMahon himself. What this means for Riddle going forward is anybody's guess, though it seems like a new push for him after dropping the US title to Sheamus at WrestleMania 37. Is this the start of something big for Riddle, or a one-off fluke victory over Orton? Sound off in the comments. At WrestleMania 37, Bad Bunny had one of the best celebrity matches ever, teaming with Damian Priest to defeat The Miz and John Morrison following months of insults. One of the highlights of his performance was a Canadian destroyer, nicknamed the Bunny Destroyer, that he did to John Morrison, though that wasn't in the original plan for the match. Speaking to Sportskeeda, Damian Priest explained that the move was a late addition to the match, saying, "I remember I showed him a video, because he knew what the move was and I was trying to explain to him how to do it, and I'm actually like, what do you think?" He was like, "I don't know, man, WrestleMania's tomorrow, you want me to do that?" And I was like, "It'd be really sweet if you could." After a few practice runs, the Grammy Award-winning rapper had the move down, and it became a late addition to one of the most surprising performances in recent WrestleMania history. Last week, we reported that in 2019, Sami Zayn pitched a SummerSlam match against Sean Waltman, aka X-Pac, a match that WWE didn't greenlight. This match was meant to be a rematch from their epic King of Trios Night collision in 2011, and though the match didn't happen 2 years ago, it may still happen yet. In a tweet, Waltman explained that in 2019 he had a few health and injury issues that needed addressing, but now that they've been taken care of, teased finally getting his rematch with Zayn at SummerSlam. If this match happens, fans would have to wait until SummerSlam 2022, as Waltman explained that he had ACL surgery 3 months ago. And would you like to see this match happen? Let us know in the comments below. Of course, this match can only happen if Zayn is in the company by August 2022, as fans are still reeling from the 10 superstars released last week. Now, more information has come out about the circumstances that led to their departures, as on Wrestling Observer Radio, it was reported that 2 talent were released after complaints from the wrestlers, with one superstar, quote, pouting over the fact that they weren't used at WrestleMania. Another superstar complained about how they were being booked poorly or not being booked at all, and though the superstars weren't named and their complaining wasn't cited as the only reason they were cut, it was a factor behind WWE's decision. All wrestlers released this past Thursday are under a standard 90-day non-compete clause with WWE and are not free to sign with other promotions until Wednesday, July 14th, where they'll hopefully be booked in a way that doesn't warrant these kind of complaints. One likely home for some of the 10 is AEW, which has added another big segment to this week's Dynamite. We previously reported how Jim Ross will interview The Pinnacle ahead of their Blood and Guts match on May 5th, but this Wednesday's Dynamite will also see Tony Schiavone interview the Inner Circle. We imagine neither interview will go for long before the other faction shows up, and with the TNT and AEW Women's World titles also on the line and Christian Cage in action this Wednesday, this week's Dynamite is a stacked show. Well guys, that's our news for today. Please share your comments below. Also hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon to receive all notifications. And as always, thanks for watching.